doing? Can you guys see me? I can't see you. Oh, there we are.
All right, so you go ahead and convene the meeting, Dan, and hand over to, I guess, our Joe. Are you going to run that in?
Gary?
What?
Wait on you. Yeah.
I'm right here.
Can they hear you?
Can you
Can
hear
you guys
me?
hear me?
I think the annex building, the mic is either muted or.
Yeah, push the red mute button on the rear.
Now can you hear us?
Hey, there we go.
All right. Well, Danny will convene the meeting, and then our Joe, you're running that end of it, or?
Yes, sir. I'll take care of running the screen.
All right.
We're going to convene a special meeting to discuss what is it that Gary did?
The greatest maximum price and some cell issues.
But Joey, do you want to kind of step up to the plate and tell us what we got going on, and we'll listen.
Yep, so I appreciate everybody's time today. There's three things that we'd like to talk about today. The first is giving you the status update on the site work package. The second being the status of the overall GMP for the project. And then third, the discussion to write a notice to proceed for the poly jail portion of the project. So let's start out first by giving you a kind of a status update on the site work portion. As you remember last week, we went ahead and executed the GMP for the site work portion of this contract. Warren, you want to kind of give an update on the discussions with Victory and timeline over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah. I was sorry for the confusion this morning on last second changes on meeting out there. Anyway, I talked to Mike Skillman with audio is messed up. I talked to Mike Skillman with Victory this morning, and I asked him, so when do you guys plan on starting? And their plan right now, they're wrapping up a job in Emporia, Kansas, hopefully by the end of this week. Early next week, there's equipment there that they need to mobilize to the site. He says tentatively right now, they want to start work, be it clearing trees and such, on Tuesday of next week. We were going to meet with him today in person and go over some of those things, trailer locations, stuff like that. But that is their tentative start date as of now. And then start with site clearing, clearing and grubbing, site demo, and then move into the mass excavation portion of it, as well as that as the site utilities. So we may be seeing some work starting on Tuesday of next week.
Okay. Warren, I think that what we'll probably end up doing, I would say in the next day or two, is probably putting together a 5-week look ahead. That way we can kind of detail the activities and be able to pass it on to Linn County. And then, like I said, we should be starting real soon on this one finally.
Yeah.
Because they would actually come, but starting to move along and starting to take shape.
Warren,
So,
you'd asked about doing a groundbreaking, and the commissioners are open to doing that, I think. I don't know when you'll want to do it, but that's in your hands, I guess, at this point to set that.
I know the Kevin Ross, his office right now is working on putting together like a graphic picture of the building, something we can send to a sign company and make like a overall project sign. So his office is working on that. We tentatively have planned our trailer to be delivered to the site October 9th. I was thinking maybe that following Monday, or as soon as we can get a sign up. We generally want to do that in front of the sign with a little pile of dirt, and we got some gold shovels, and it's a good photo op for you guys. But as soon as we get that sign information from Goldberg Group, we'll start that process and get the sign made, and we should be on site by then. And I understand you guys, if we do it, you want it done on a Monday. Well, you guys are all there, and we can make that happen. But we'll do it as soon as possible.
Yeah, David is pointing out that the Monday after the 9th is a holiday. So if it's the Monday after the 9th, our next meeting will be the 13th instead of the 12th. Does that
Okay, okay.
That make sense?
Yeah, that's good information. So,
Okay. So, one of the reasons or one of the advantages we had recommending doing the site work portion early was to get the head start on obviously the dirt work while we got great weather. And in the background, what we were doing was working on the overall GMP. So one of the things that we were doing was obviously going back to these bid packages and these subcontractors that provided pricing a couple months ago and try to get them to hold their pricing as best as we could, see what we could do about saving money. So we went ahead and did that exercise of contacting everybody who did the project, worked through the numbers with them, worked through scope, and what we put together that's shown on my screen right now is on this highlighted section, the recap of all this breakdown. So when you look at the quality testing allowance, that number, obviously in the comment section, is going to have a red section to it on what that increase is. When you look down at carpentry, we had a $35,000 increase on combs. On this comment column, you're going to also see that if there wasn't a price increase, let's just say, for example, the concrete and the masonry and the steel, none of those prices went up, which is great because of all the things that we thought we were going to incur costs on, we really didn't. You had some minor increases in the broad scheme of things, but for the most part, the majority of these subcontractors were able to hold their pricing. So this is the recap. This is the recap that you guys have been used to seeing. Really, the major increases that you can see is obviously with Holmes Construction. That's the general works portion. You can see on the Conley sprinkler, there was a $13,000 add. But where the big decrease was in the detention control system, the poly jail portion. And their number was able to come down. They were able to tighten up their numbers once we gave them full direction on the dorm-style housing for the pod C and D. So that deduct that we had originally showed you before is now included in their base bid pricing. And the other thing that we had talked about previously was that the county was going to perform the CCTV work. That's now included in our base bid pricing. So when you look at the overall number from what you've been accustomed to seeing, we've, in this column, included the FF&E. We've included the AE fee that Goldberg Group has, and you get to a total amount of $19,615,193, plus the site work portion that's already been executed for an overall number, including the FF&E and AE fee, of $20,603,000 for round numbers, which is roughly $77,000 less than our cost back in May. So our number has come down, which is great news.
Are your concrete contractors figuring in weatherization? I mean, they're going to be starting right in the middle of winter, aren't they?
Yep, and it's a great question. We do have winter included.
well, if you look under how this job was originally supposed to break ground starting June 1. Right now, the preliminary schedule that we showed with your old GMP number 1 amendment contract, working through budget stuff, and we've got that done a lot faster now. We originally showed on our prelim schedule revision 4 starting concrete in the middle of winter, like you're saying. Before we had weather protection under masonry, we had 40,000. That's for blanketing in, scaffolding, heat, propane heat, all that. We think now that money could be used more for cold weather concrete in regards to foundation. One of the things too, we did anticipate running into some weather, and we increased our foundation work by 3 weeks. So we revised that duration, anticipating that is going to be a factor. Now, if we could get started, not January 4th, but say sometime in October, sometime in November. That's going to help that. So we did take that into account.
All right.
Commissioners, any of the rest of you have a question?
I do not. No.
Okay.
I'm nothing that's jumping out at me.
I didn't catch that.
He said nothing is jumping out at him.
Okay.
No, I do not.
Will you email me a copy of that form that's up there so I can give it to the commissioners on Monday?
Yes, sir. So what we're going to do is we're going to send you this document and then also the GMP letter with the recommendations for all the contractors on the bid packages as well. Very similar to what you saw in the site work
Okay.
GMP portion.
Good.
So the other part of obviously the discussion that we'd like to have today is what's going to drive this schedule is the release of the detention control package. And with Pauley Jail, the critical portion of this whole project is getting the release on the steel cell jail cells. So what we're looking to do today is writing a letter of intent to Pauley Jail, and this is what this letter would be, and this would be the notice to proceed or the letter of intent for the detention equipment package. And by doing this, what it's going to do is it's going to establish the letter of intent to Pauley Jail so that they can release the steel cells, and it would be able to be then put into production to meet the overall schedule for this project. Because, as you know, if we can't get these steel cells delivered on time, it basically blows this entire schedule up. And if you don't get it put in that production, there's a good chance that you could be delayed 6 months to a year. So we worked with Pauley Jail. We've got the production window established. Warren, I believe that right now, if we give them the letter of intent this week, we are ready for delivery on the steel cells this time next year, correct?
September timeframe is what we showed in our preliminary schedule. Yes.
Yep. So that's the critical portion of this contract, and like I said, we'd really like to get this letter of intent to them, get this going, get this into production, and start rolling on this project.
Any of the commissioners have any questions about this letter of intent? This is a letter that will actually come from River City, but you need to authorize it on the record for them to send it.
Make a motion.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we allow River City to send this letter of intent to Pauley Jails as a notice to proceed. That's my motion.
Second.
Move and second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much.
So, just to be clear, Rick, did you vote yes?
I did.
And Mike, did you vote yes?
I did.
Okay, we just want to be clear. We only heard one, so. All right, what else do you need from us, guys?
I got a real basic question for you. Until we get a trailer set up out there, our main office in Peoria is wanting to start dropping off or shipping to us IT equipment, modems and all that stuff, and eventually for our final trailers. And is there a good address, temporary address, I could give them for UPS deliveries? Would it be the annex building?
306 Main.
306 Main, okay. To anyone's attention in particular, just like when we're down there, we can grab it.
We have storage space available on camera, so
Okay, let's make it to Chris Martin.
Chris Martin, okay. Sounds good. We'll make sure it says River City on it, so you guys will know who it's for. So,
Chris, are you all good on your side of things? I mean, do you have a lot of questions or?
I mean, I'm right now just kind of.
A little early for your questions, probably. Yeah.
We're tracking the storage shafts, we'll just assign them what we're using.
Okay.
Stuff right into it.
All right. one other issue that has come up that I probably really will need to address with Kevin and those guys, but you need to be aware of it, is that we think that the new county attorney will probably want an office rather than an entire open plan in his space. So everybody just needs to be aware of that we'll be making that change.
Okay.
Anything else you need from us?
I don't believe so.
No. No, I don't. I don't have anything. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, thank you, and
Thank you.
Thanks.
Always make a motion to adjourn, or?
Yep.
Thanks, guys. With that, I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn this special meeting. That's my motion.
Second, Mike Page.
Moon, second, all in favor? Aye.
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 very good, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
You.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.